Hi everyone, it's Judy. Welcome back to Rose Lane. I know it's been probably a couple of weeks since I've been here. There's been a lot of stuff to do at work lately, and I'm coming into the holidays, so there's going to be a lot of work to do there. So I'm going to try to be getting some of this stuff done as much as possible. So today, we've been kind of working a little bit on doing some hidden journaling places, whether they're hidden tags or, you know, whatever it might be, or just hidden places. And I have a belly band that I've been doing, probably for about a year now. And it's been in several, if not maybe all, of my journals since then. But I wanted to come up with something else besides. So I came up with another one. So we're going to do both of them today. So what we have here is the belly band. I don't know how well you can see it. Let me bring it up a little bit. Sorry about the glare on that, but there you go. That's not so bad. So I've got a tag in here already. But this is the belly band. I made this one all out of lace. I have a key here on the thing, you know, by the ribbon, and I have the trying to tilt it so that it doesn't really shine so much. I have one of the pieces of ephemera from the kit here, and I did try to pop the bubbles, but I didn't do a good job. But that's okay, it makes it look gold. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, so this is a little piece of ephemera from the kit, and here's a little oak leaf that I did, and this one I'm going to try to cover that. That I just heat embossed, you know, dry embossed there, or wet embossed, I should say. And then this had the glossy accents on it. So that's what I did here, but what I'm going to show you is where it's hidden. So I'm going to pull these away because this is part of the journal, actually. And I'm going to show you where this is hidden. So if you just move the key up and you untie the ribbon here, this piece opens right there, and then this piece opens there, and right in here you have another little pull down space. So how does that look? Did I get everything on camera there? Okay, so you have a little hidden kind of tuck spot behind the flap of the belly band, and then you just tuck it back in like so. So that's that. So again, it comes down like this. You can write on that side. You can also write on this side. Whoops, now I'm off screen. Okay, so it's a little shorter on this side, of course, but you do have it. So you can write your piece here, and then you can flip it, and you can write more on the back. And then it just tucks back in to the little tuck spot that I have. Let me move this out of the way. And then that closes, and this closes, and we just retie it. I'm standing, I should probably sit. So now I'm sitting. We'll retie that. And I never get these even. Everybody says the same thing. When you try to tie a bow on camera, it just doesn't quite seem to work, does it? But that's okay. You get the idea. You know what a bow is. And then the card, I had it on a slant. It can go in straight. Actually, I think I kind of like it straight onto the side over there. So that's what we're going to work on today. This one, what I did, I'm going to untie it again, but I will not retie it. What I did with this is this was just cardstock, and I took some ink and I just brushed the ink on it because I was kind of just trying to do sort of a prototype, and I ended up actually using it. So yeah, so what I'm going to do though with the one I'll show you how to put it together is I'm going to do one with paper, and I'm going to trim it with lace and whatever. Actually, I have some snowflakes that I had made. I think that would kind of look cute on it. We'll have to see what I've got. And but I'm going to at least show you how to put that together, and I'm going to show you the other one, which is really very simple. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to put it to the side. So what I did, and this is going to be the one for the Christmas one, I'm going to use this paper. I cut a piece about how wide I wanted it, and honestly I don't know how wide it is. Let me grab a grab a ruler here, and this is just short of 2 inches. It's about 2 and just a smidge wider than 1 7/8 rather. So you have 2 pieces like that, and I already scored mine. You can't see that, but I did. It's right there. I already made a score line on it, so that's for the flap on that one, and then there's a score line here, and that's for the flap on that one, and that's going to go over it like so. Okay, so the 2 flaps. And while I'm thinking of it, I'm just going to trim these a little so that you don't have to worry about them, you know, the edges kind of poking out or anything. I am going to leave the inside of this. I'm going to ink it, edge it with the ink, I should say, which I will do. And I'm going to just leave it plain. I'm not going to try to change the color on it at all. So that might have just shook the camera. I apologize, because if you remember, my camera is hooked up to the edge of a cabinet, and I just dropped my ink, and that cabinet shakes when I open it, and I just hit the wire from from my camera. Oh, if you could only see the setup I have. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna cover this anyway with paper. Now I'm just gonna put it down right onto this and glue it and just cut it out. So honestly, the inked edges aren't really going to show. However, it'll, yeah, I've got the edge part that'll be that would have shown, and that won't be an issue once I glue it down, because I find that, I'm off camera, I know, I find that when I glue my paper to something and then I want to ink it, wherever the glue is, it doesn't want to take the ink. So this way, if it really was an issue with the edge, that you could kind of tell that you could see it, and I'm going to do in here as well. I hope I'm in camera. So that's really the inside right there. Okay, let me do this side as well, just because, and we've got that one. Okay. And that's how I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to line it with paper or anything. Actually, it goes like this, so I don't need that side on here. But I'm going to cover it completely with the paper, not try to cut the paper, you know, a little smaller and fit it in on the edges. I'm going to completely cover it. And I do apologize if I'm sniffling. I'm not sick. I'm fine. My issue right now is they've changed my allergy medicine, because I've been taking it for so long, and the doctors were feeling that it was somewhat ineffective. So that goes this way, yes. So they wanted to change it, and now my nose is like perpetually running. So I guess we'll get this right eventually. So anyhow, so that's that. So no matter which side I've got it on, I'm good. So, okay, let me just take this. So I will be sniffling, and I'm going to grab a tissue right now. I've used up my whole box of tissues down here, and I'm just going to wipe my nose. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm putting eye drops in my eyes. It's crazy. Okay, you know what? Let me ink this too, because this is going to be the little tuck spot. It's not the same color, but I think that's okay. And I may actually, if I don't like that it's not the same color, I may just probably put a piece of paper. You know what? I am. That's what I'm going to do. I will just put the paper on that as well. So let's just get the edges anyhow, just to be sure, because we want it vintagey. This is obviously for a Christmas journal that I'm working on. It is a custom order, and I really need to get this one done, because, you know, Christmas is right around the corner. So my goal, which is why I'm not going back to the autumn one right now, I will, but my goal is to get this one done and gone before I go back to the other ones that I have to do. Okay, so that's good. Okay, let me put this away. back in the drawer. Okay, so let's do this. And because I don't need the hinge part covered, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip this over, and this is the hinge, so this is what this is the inside, I should say. So I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to glue it right down. Let me get my my glue. My goodness. Okay. I was very excited. I did get my 3 new bottles of 3-in-1, so I'm good with that. And I still had plenty of art glitter glue left because I tend to use the 3-in-1 a little bit more often than I use the art glitter glue. So, okay. All right. I think that'll be okay. So let's turn this over. Try to get that right to the edge. I mean, even if I'm a little in, that's okay because I can always trim it. I'd rather have too much on the end than too little, if you know what I mean. Okay. So we're going to do that. And now for this one, I'm going to put it right next to it. And the reason why is because I really do want and I'm hoping this works, I really do want the pattern to line up, okay? Actually, I think what I'm going to do is do this one first, and then I'm going to place this on the paper so that the pattern doesn't look interrupted. So let's try that. Let me try cutting this out. And I do cut a little more slowly these days because I'm not always where I think I need to be. And I do better with the small scissors. I don't know why that is, but I do. I think I just got so used to using them for fussy cutting. I did cut the edge a little bit. So you know what that means, right? I have to go back and do the ink again. Okay, just make sure it's all okay. All right, so what I want to do now, for any of you who have ever sewn, you know how you need to be matching patterns, right? So we want to, I think, go down here because this is going to go over it. So we want the pattern to match. 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm gonna bring it here. No, that's going to be too much. So let me see. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm looking, let me see if I can show you what I'm doing. Here's the edge of the big flap, okay, right here. And here's the edge of the paper right here. I'm trying to line up the pattern, if you can see, with this, and still have it so that it'll come to the edge here. So that's what I'm looking to do. So what I want to do, I think, is I'm just gonna cut upside down. I'm having trouble cutting right side up, but I'm going to cut upside down right where I want that to go. I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to glue it right to that cut mark, okay? That's where I'm going to glue it, and then I'll trim from the other side. So that is what I'm going to try to do, and hopefully it will match. And the reason behind it is not so, I mean, it makes it, of course, look more consistent. But the whole reason behind it is to make it look more like it doesn't open. So if it's hidden by, or hidden more effectively by keeping the pattern consistent across, then you're less likely to notice because there's no anomaly, you know, where that flap will cover, or where ends, I should say, when you flip it closed. There's no anomaly in the pattern, nothing that'll draw your eye to it. It should look pretty fluid and almost hidden. So let's hope for that. I'll try to press this down. I do want to get it cut, but I know that, you know, it's still a little wet, so I have to be careful. So let's try to do that by cutting a little on an angle here so that I'm not cutting the edge of the fold. We don't want to do that because then we don't have a fold anymore. All right, and then we can just trim this one. Now, I mean, if you wanted to, you could round the edges on your corners, but again, that would show that there's a corner. And depending on how much you really want it to look hidden, okay, that does not look bad. That's not too bad. What I do see, if you can see it, is there's 2 green lines and I have 3, if you can see that. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, I'm going to cut off, and I'm going to do this with a razor knife because I don't trust myself any other way. I'm going to make this just a little narrower, and I'm going to cut this other green line off. I was just a little bit off. So let me get to this side. It's playing games with my one good eye here. Okay, and let me get this cut. All right, now this should be a little bit better. I'm deciding, do I want to do I want to do the edge, but I think I will, just lightly. Okay, and now this should go back. And there you go. You can no longer see the 3 lines, and you don't see that, you really don't see that there's a thing. Now there's gonna be ribbon on this, and there's gonna be lace on this, and there's gonna be snowflakes on this, and things like that. So it's gonna help cover the piece. So I think what I want to do, for the sake of actually putting this together, is I'm gonna pull one of the pieces of paper. Let me get this out of the way. I'm gonna pull one of the pieces of paper that I do want to put this in the journal. So let me find one. I have to go back here and let me see where I think I want to put this. I'll start on these pages. Some of these, they still have to be cut down, and I've mixed a few different, let's see, how does that one look? It might look good on there. All right. My goodness, my nose, I so apologize. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. I could do it on the other side of those. Some of these are printed on the other side, and some of them are not. Ah, there. I like that there. Okay, so this is going to be the one. So let me pull that piece out. I like it right on that. And we're going to work on this piece right now. Now, this doesn't have a back on it, but I will work on that at another time. For right now, let me trim off the edges of this. I was trying to get as done as possible with, you know, pieces ahead so that it wouldn't take so long, especially since I wanted to do the 2 belly bands on the for the video today. So I'm going to try. My original thought for this was to have it tea-dyed, which I probably still will be able to do if I do it carefully. Then it shouldn't really be an issue, even though there's the belly band will be on the other side. I think if I take some precautions, you know, maybe put some I'll think of it, saran wrap or waxed paper, something that will not allow the water to go through and loosen the glue or mess up, you know, anything on the belly band. I think if I protect it, I think I should be okay. If not, I'll be doing it again. All right, so we're just going to fold this for right now. We'll get that folded. Okay, and we're going to work here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, I'm going to glue this, go ahead and glue this down. And where do I want it? You know what's really good about this too is I wanted to use snowflakes. So I've made, not that you can really see them, but let's see, let me grab one here. I have gotten the Tim Holtz mini snowflake dies, and this is kind of, it's really full of glitter right now. I have to shake them off more and, you know, kind of dust them, so get the looser stuff off, which I'm doing over here and getting all over my clothes. But they're gonna, I don't know that this is gonna be one, but it just so happens that there's snowflakes on here. This worked out. This was a good choice. I'm happy with this one. So, okay, so we're gonna get this glued, look at me, I'm trying to pick that up. We're gonna get this one glued down. Okay, let's get it glued in place, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do, because for me at least it's easier, and my art glitter glue doesn't want to come out. For me it's easier to work on the smaller pieces if it's still. So if the bigger pieces are still, because they have to go together. So I'd rather glue them down and then work with them that way than try to make the whole piece and then try to put it in the book, if you know what I mean. So that is what I'm going to do. So I'm not going to put it all the way up, you know, centered. I'm going to have it down just a little bit because I don't want to really cover up all of those snowflakes. I'd rather leave that alone. So we have that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the glue on here and glue this one down, but I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it right up against there, and then I'm going to put it down like so. So hopefully that is even. Oh my goodness, my nose. Okay, I'm going to let that sit for a second while I blow my nose again. I'm sorry. I'll turn away from the camera. Okay. Okay. The other thing too is I'm putting eye drops in, which I don't think helps. Gets into my nose. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now I'm going to come back here to this, and I'm going to do this piece again. And oh, look at that. It just fits. And I'm not concerned about where this goes on here because it's by itself on the other side. I don't have to match it to anything. So, and you can have a different paper. You could leave it plain if you wanted. You didn't have to, you know, cover it. This one I just felt, I don't know, I wanted to give it a little bit more something on the back than just be completely plain. And you can always add a little, you know, something to it, however you would like. So I will put that down. I'm going to give that a quick second before I start rubbing, because I have a tendency to, oops, look at that, a piece of doily. I have a tendency to move it, which I did, as you can see. Okay, so we'll do that. That should be okay. It is. Get my scissors and we'll cut this one out as carefully as I can. Yeah, I got so used to these tiny little scissors with fussy cutting. You know, when I first started, and I was just telling this to somebody last night, actually, when I loved the whole idea of the junk journaling. When I found it, I just fell in love with, you know, the idea of all these beautiful books, and I love books, and I do calligraphy. Well, I did. I don't know how well I can do it now. And I love to read, and I've always loved paper, the sound of it, the smell of it, the feel of it, the whole, you know, well, you know. And so when I found the junk journaling pages, I was just smitten. So, you know, I really thought I love books, and I love the beauty of books, and to make beautiful books is just, you know, and I like to write. I do writing. I you know, am writing a novel. Like, I have time for that kind of stuff, but I have been working on a novel. I like historical fiction, so that's kind of where I go with my writing. And some of you may know that I had written a letter to the journal maker, which is in my Etsy shop now, because it was pure accident with that. Well, not an accident, but I wanted a letter to go with my journals. And, I had only sent out a few at that point because I had only opened my Etsy shop in April. And this was May. So I had sent out about, 4 letters at that point. Okay, so this is where this is going to go. I'm just going to put it right in here, just like that, okay? But before I do, we have the paper. So what we're going to do is and I'll get back to the story in a second as soon as I tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to glue this down here, and then I'm going to fold it so that it comes almost to the edge of the, let me just make sure I'm up high enough, almost to the edge of this, but not quite. So let's get this glued and I'll continue my story. So anyway, I wrote that letter to the journal maker, and I send it out with my journals. And, if I give them to somebody or if I am selling them. And Gail Augustinelli got one of my journals, and I had the letter there, and she happened to read it, and people really loved it. So I wrote a new letter, very similar, but a new letter, so that people could have a letter of their own. So, but all that to say that I really enjoy writing, and I do write some poems, and like I said, I'm working on an historical novel, and yeah, just stuff like that. So I just figured, junk journaling, that was the thing for me. And again, all that to say this, that, I was really loving making beautiful books that could be written in, and stories could be told. And now I may end up having to cut this excuse me, a little shorter, because I didn't measure it. I just cut a piece out of scrap, and I can see that I'm already going to have to do that, so not too much. And then I'll just re-ink the edge. So all I'm doing is accordion folding this back and forth, as you can see, okay? And now what I'm going to do here is just mark, if I can find my pencil, just mark where I want it to. And I'm going to do it from this fold, which apparently I didn't do very well. Come. That's better. Okay. And I'm just going to cut it right along here, which I'll do with the knife because for me that's easier. So anyway, and I didn't do a very good job here, so I'm going to try to make it straighter by putting it against a line and making it a little bit. And it's okay if it's a little shorter. That will be just fine. I'm measuring here by eye with the dots on my thing here. So let me get my inker and my ink, and we'll do this again. So anyhow, so I figured, I was watching videos. I watched videos for nearly a year, and trying to see what people did and what kind of tools that they had that I thought I really would want to have right now. And, so I spent time collecting stuff and watching videos and all that kind of stuff. And finally, in October of 2019, I committed, well, it was before that, but I committed to a Christmas journal swap. Oh my goodness. It drove me absolutely insane. I was beside myself with stress, and it wasn't right, and it didn't look right, and how come I can't get it to look like that, and all of these things, going back and forth with all of this. And I'm thinking, now I bought all this stuff, what am I going to do with it? This was like one of the worst mistakes of my life. What was I thinking? But, I managed, and I did end up getting it done. And in all honesty, it came out really, really pretty. And I was like, okay, well, it looks like maybe I can do this. So then I committed to another swap that was a vintage lady you can see how straight my lines are, of glue, a Vintage Lady journal. Now, when I first read it, I looked at it and I thought, oh, it's like a journal that would have belonged to an old an old time journal. Okay, that's what I was looking at it. That it belonged to a woman, 100 or 120 or 150 years ago or whatever. So that's what I was looking at, and I had all these ideas. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. So you see, I just glued the 3 sides on that, and then I just glued it over where I had the paper. And now here you have your paper that just comes right down, except for that little wad of glue. And then it folds back up again. And if you want, you can ink in here. Like I said, I used to do that, and then I stopped because, I don't know, I felt like it interrupted where you could write. So for me, that's how I felt. So I don't ink, I just ink the edges now. So, and that's all you do. And then you just take it and tuck it back up in here, like so. Remember, I've got glue just still wet on there. And then that closes like this, okay? And because this is glued down, when you slide something in the top, something to slide in the top, okay, it doesn't catch on anything as if it would under here, because you've got, but when you go from the top, it doesn't catch on anything, so you're good. So now what we're gonna do is let me try to see how far I am on this. I'm hoping that I don't run out of room as I'm filling up my thing again. So what I want to do here is I want to take a piece of lace, and I'm going to run my ribbon. I'm going to glue the lace down, and I'm going to glue a piece here and a piece here, and I'm going to run my ribbon underneath, which is what I did here, okay, on this one. I ran my ribbon underneath. This was card under here, and I just put layers of lace, but I'm not going to do that with this one. So I may all right, I think I decided I wanted green with this. So this is my new roll. Let me get my snuffos. This is my new roll of, oh my goodness, it doesn't want to come off. Well, it's not really Hug Snug. It's the new version of it, because they're really not doing the rayon ribbon much anymore, which is why it's so hard to find. They're now doing it with this, oh no, it was polyester, I think. It was polyester, maybe. I can't remember now. And then this one is rayon. I'm trying to get this tape off. It doesn't. It's like a piece of fabric that's kind of glued over it, and I'm just pulling it. It's crazy. All right, so anyway, so that's what I have. And I think I decided I liked the green better. So let's see. That was before I had a paper underneath it. So I also have, find this one. And again, I've got to get the little tape off. So I'm here picking at the tape. Okay, put that down there. So then I have burgundy. So what do I think? I think the green. So we're going to do green. So this is 100 yards. 100-yard roll. You can't go wrong. 100 yards for like $11. Honestly. And since I have a hard time getting, if I'm going to hand dye my ribbons, I have a hard time getting them this color, at least with the inks that I have now, because that's really what I use is ink. Excuse me. I just went ahead and, because I like vintage, and I just went ahead and got these kind of very vintagey Christmas burgundy and dark green colors, because I'll have enough for like the rest of my life with these ribbons. So anyhow, I forgot what I was talking about. I think I was talking about the Vintage Ladies. I'm wondering if maybe I just what lace do I want with this? I'm standing up to see what I've got here. Okay, I need a better way to store these. I've just got them stored one next to the other. I'm thinking, which could be a bad thing. And then I want to do snowflakes. Excuse me. Bow will go over here. You can see how much glitter I have to take off of these because I just brushed them with the glue, so I've got like overhang glitter. So anyway, I did this vintage ladies one, and again, I started, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? It was just, luck that the last one came out looking okay. I'm not good at this. This is driving me crazy. Everybody says how their fussy cutting is, it's so calming and it relieves their stress, and I'm clenching my jaw and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what have I done? And you know what? If some of you out there are kind of new and you're feeling that same stress, it gets easier. It really does. And now when I want to get down here some nights and I just can't, either I'm just really in late from work and I can't wrap my head around it, or I just don't have enough time, or whatever that is, or of course with all the surgeries and stuff and our health issues, my husband and I both this year, I'm trying to think of how I would want to do this. No, I don't think I want to do that. I don't know. Let me think. Oh, I'm looking at this and it's a little beat up, but I'm going to cut that end off. Find my scissors. Probably because I beat it up. If you can see, I kind of, well, maybe not. I beat it up trying to get the tape off. So I'll just put this in my little ribbon bag over here. All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put the ribbon down. I want to be very careful what I do because the glue does show through the ribbon. So I do want to be very, very careful. You could sew it if you wanted to, but I'm obviously not going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to try to find a spot, because I'm going to use the paper pattern to help me glue this down. So if I go along that line and then along that first green line, I think I'm going to use the art glitter glue and see what happens for me. That's pretty much in the middle, right? So I'm going to go along here. It gives me a very fine line as I say that, and it comes gushing out. And I'm only going to glue. It's not as fine as I would have liked it. I'm only going to glue over to just before. I'm just trying to get some of this extra glue off. Now again, I can edge it with a little bit of lace or something like that to, sometimes the decorating is just a whole lot more difficult than constructing something complicated. Or, let's not say complicated, involved. Don't want to scare anybody off. Okay, so then I think the other one, let go of my finger, is this green line. I think it was this green, I hope. So I'm going to try to go very lightly across that green line. All right, and then I'm going to put this down. I want to make sure that I leave enough to tie, and I'm going to just press that in, and hopefully I won't have a big glue gloppy looking edge. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm just going to let that sit for a minute before I go tugging at it. Okay, So that's it. I have way more ribbon than I need over here, but I'll find places to use those little pieces. I just want to let that sit for a second. Okay. Now let me try to trim this here. And again, I mean, you may find that you have no problem going ahead. I actually have to glue that down, don't I? Going ahead and doing your piece as one unit and then actually just gluing it into your book. But for me, I just felt it was easier for me to, I got glitter all over everything. It was easier for me to have it on the page, you know, on the page, so that I had something a little more substantial that I could use. So now I'm going to do the same thing here. Kind of fold this back, and as that shouldn't go all the way, you can see it doesn't go all the way to the edge of that. And I'm going to go ahead and put a line of glue here and a line of glue here, and I'll be wise this time and glue the edge. And now I've got, well, I can get a straight edge here a little bit better. Maybe. Try again. Oh, if I did it faster, it came out better. So I'll just try to get this. This does unwind a little bit more than the other one, but I think it'll be okay. And I do apologize if you get my head in the top of this thing. I do have to kind of, in a lot of cases, lean in some. So, okay, that's good. And then we will take a little thing over here, and this will then tie here, like so. And then I'll just cut off whatever amount of ribbon I don't want. My fingers are so chubby, I have to make gigantic loops so I can get the tail over over my finger. All right, and I do like when the tail goes one up and one down. I like the way that looks. So that's that. Come on, I want you up. And I'm probably going to make that a little smaller. So I'll do this one here, and then this one here. And that's that. Then I just have to decide. But see, you can't tell. You really can't tell. And I may not, I mean, I might put a little lace on it. I must have something tiny. But anyway, I'll decorate that later because I want to show you how to do the other one, and you'll see this later. But that gives you a basic idea of how to construct it. Again, you just make it as wide as you want and cut the two pieces. Score a little, I think I was about maybe 5/8, half an inch, something like that, that I made the tab on. You know, the little piece that you're going to glue down. So you only need 3 pieces of the cardstock. For me, I glue my paper onto the cardstock. Many people just print right on the cardstock, so that's fine. And then you have this little strip, as wide or as deep as you want. Tell you how wide I made this. Let me do this again. So these, I think, were just shy of, it was 1 7/8. Okay, and you could do 2 inches. It doesn't make that much difference. And then it's as wide as your paper is, just a little bit shy of that. Okay, where you can see that. So in my case, this is 8.5 by 11, and my printer does not print borderless. So the paper is shorter than that. So this piece is 5 inches. And then I made this one, looks like about 1 1/8. And that flaps over like that. You can do it in the middle if you want. You can make it a little wider. I wouldn't make it too much narrower, only because if you do it with a bow, you know, it would kind of hang out the end. So that's what you do with that. So that's how that comes out. That's how that looks. So one more time, and then this unfolds, out it goes, and you can flip it both ways, and then it tucks back in. Very easy. And then the flap goes back over. And like I said, you'll see that when it's done, because I will do a flip through in the book, so of the book when it's done. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to show you what I do with my other ones. And this is going to go into the into my book. So let me grab a page here. Okay. And let's just say, I'm not going to actually put it in here, but this is going to have to come down. Actually, no, I'm going to have to cut it down. I just cut a piece. So let me go. And I just did the back. I went over, you can do tea stained. This didn't happen to be tea stained yet, because mostly I do these background pieces to, you know, pieces like this to make pockets and things like this out of. And usually you don't see the back of the page. So I don't always take the time to tea stain everything. If I don't think the back is going to show, I just don't do it. So I just went over it with a little bit of antique linen, and then I edged, you know, did the inking around the edges with the brushed corduroy, which is what I'm using in this book because it's a little more gold and a little lighter than the antique, than the vintage photo. And so I just wanted it a little more subtle. I didn't want it very heavily inked. Okay, so what I did here was I wanted my belly band to be about 2 inches. So since we're going to do a trifold here, I cut it at 6 inches. Okay, so what we're going to do is probably easier for me is if I go ahead and mark it, or I can do this. Let me put it here on my mat. I'm just going to take my ruler and my bone folder, if I can find it in my big mess. Hello, there it is. And I'm going to go to 2 inches. And actually I'm going to go just this side of 2 inches. And I'm going to just score like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. And I'm going to, whoops, it's not quite straight on the bottom. I can always fudge it a little bit. I'm going to go just this side of 2 inches. So it makes the middle just a smidge wider, but not much. And then we're going to try to find those score lines. And go ahead and fold that in. And then go ahead and I'll fold that in that way. I think I'm on my lines. I hope I'm on my lines. I'm a little off. Okay, bring that back down and bring it out that way. Okay, so that's what we have here. That's going to make the basic belly band. So about halfway through, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Scotch tape, okay, transparent tape or whatever it is that you want to call it, and I am going to go about, and I'm just eyeballing this, I'm going to go just past the fold line, and I'm going to put this down and go just past the fold line here, cut off the extra. If you do this with cardstock, then you'll have that extra reinforcement. Because I am only doing it with paper, I put the transparent tape down so you really can't see it. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ruler. I'm going to measure. If I find my ruler, find my pencil. I'm just going to go down to, this is now 7 1/8. So I'm going to eyeball this, 7 1/8, 3 1/2, and right about here is the middle. So I'm going to go a little on either side like this, because I'm going to cut a slit in here that's going to take the ribbon, the seam binding is going to go in here, and I want to just make sure that that I didn't have my ruler in the wrong place. That's not too bad. Okay, so we're about right there. I have far too much room on the one side. I made this a little wider than the other one because I was just eyeballing it, but I will measure that against the ribbon, and I am trying to decide, I was trying to decide before which color I wanted. I don't think I want to do the pink again, though it does look nice. I don't think I want to use the green because it blends too much, and I don't think I want to use the yellow because that also blends too much. So it looks like I'm going to use the pink. So I'm just going to cut myself a piece. I'm going to take my knife here, and I'm just going to slice down that fold, and I'm going to try to make it about the same on the other side. And remember, I've got the tape that's reinforcing the other side. Okay, and what I'm going to do here, excuse me, I am so sorry, is I'm going to take the ribbon and I'm going to fish it through here. Now this may not be quite wide enough, so I will do it just a little bit more. And I'm going to fish the ribbon through that slit this way, and then I'm going to fish the ribbon through this slit on the other side this way, and we're going to have ourselves a little spot right there in the middle. Now I'm going to take this piece of paper, which I'm also going to have to cut down. I cut this a little narrower, as you can see, than the main piece, and now I'm just going to cut it down so it fits inside a little bit more. And again, I'm just eyeballing. I'm not looking at anything, you know, measuring anything. You can if you want. For the sake of time, particularly right now, I'm just kind of cutting it away. Let me get this inked, re-inked. And we're going to do the same thing with this. We're just going to fold it into threes. Now, I don't know how big this piece is. I know I cut the other one at 6 inches wide, but I don't know what I cut this one at. I just kind of made it smaller because it's going to go inside. So we're going to do our best here to kind of try to do it in thirds. And it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. That's pretty good, actually, for me. And then, okay, that's too far. I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it back a little bit. There we go. And then bring this in a little bit more. And with this pattern, quite honestly, I think, well, let me fold it because I just realized it does have a directional piece here. So it's actually going to go this way, in this way, and then this way. So what this is going to do, and you can decorate it however you want if you want, I just take it and I slide it inside here. So that goes inside. I will glue down this ribbon so it stays in place from out here. So I put a little bit of glue along the edge here. Okay. And then a little bit of glue along the edge here. Not a whole bunch, just a little bit. Didn't pull this to be even though. And then this will tie. So I've got one side shorter than the other. You know what? I'm going to do it this way just because for the moment. I'll go back and fix this later because I should have made this more even. So I'll do it like that. And then I can't make it go. Okay. I'm trying to make it so I can't even grab the ties, the ends here. Here we are. Okay. And then tie the bow. I'm going to turn it around in a second so you can see, but because I'm trying to tie, I was trying to tie it the other way because the tail is too short, but I could not do it. Anyway, so if that's the bow, okay. And then you can decorate it however you want. You could put lace down the middle, you could put ribbon down the middle, you can put, you know, maybe some leaves or something going down, however you want to do it. But then this glues on the page like this, okay? And let me grab this just because. And then this is going to be too tall for it and with that, but then the belly band goes in like this. So you just glue it top and bottom, okay? You decorate it however you want, and you will see this when it's finished. Decorate it however you want, and then it just looks like a belly band. The more stuff you put on it, the more it just looks like a belly band. But then if you untie the ribbon and this piece opens up, and then there's this inside, so you have all of this page to write on, and then this opens up and you have all of that page to write on. So it's another hidden space for journaling, and it's inside this belly band, and then that just ties shut like that. So that's it for now. With these, I probably went well over an hour with all of this, and yeah, so that's how that will work. So those are the two hidden belly bands, or not hidden belly bands, but hidden places to journal inside these belly bands. So that's it for now. I just wanted to kind of put those little quick tutorials up for you guys so that you have those as well. I have a couple more videos that I'm going to be doing with my trifold tuxedo pocket and the hidden spaces in that. And there's one other element I think I have here somewhere on my desk that's partly done but not finished. Then I might be missing for a minute while I try to get that Christmas journal done. So anyway, in the meantime, guys, until I see you next time, be safe, be happy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.